What's good everyone, it's Zigzag here, welcome back to another Geoguessr video, and today we're doing something that we haven't done on the channel in quite a while. We are going to be playing the Plonk It map, which is a map filled with the hardest locations ever found in Geoguessr as collected by the pro community as a whole. As you can see here, the average score on this map is only 11,500 points. However guys, I was just trolling you because we are not going to be playing Plonk It today, but instead Plonk It Extreme. Now Plonk It Extreme is way harder than normal Plonk It. It has an average score of just 6,900, and truly I'm capable of going the wrong continent every single round on this map. So let's just jump into things here, see if we can get some nice seeds and see how low of scores we're actually going to manage on some of these rounds. I anticipate it's going to be very low indeed, and here's our first round. So this one's obviously, with this many pine trees, looking like it's going to be somewhere in North America or Europe. And I had to say, my initial gut reaction was North America. Now that I'm looking at it a bit more closely, I think it looks a bit more like Europe. So obviously something like Poland or the Baltics comes to mind, but I think those would be too obvious. So I'm thinking now maybe even something that you could see something like this in France or Spain. I've definitely seen similar rounds like this that ended up being Spain, and I was shocked because there were so many pine trees. Germany could also actually easily be the case here, although I think that wouldn't be quite baity enough. So I'm kind of expecting this to be like something like Turkey or Spain, something Mediterranean, and that's why it feels weird, or it's going to be like all the way out here in the US. But I'm going to try Spain here. And okay, that was actually all the way over in Russia. I mean, I did kind of think it looked like Mongolia, but of course it was Generation 4 camera, so it couldn't have been there. So yeah, that was actually a thought I had. However, only 11 points there. So, and also complete wrong continent. Okay, next one here. We've got a bit of red on the car. I would have said this one was Indonesia. That's my initial reaction here. However, the other option with the black and the red at the end of the car here is that could be somewhere in Peru. Peru often also has that, and I'm just trying to work out based on the vegetation which is more likely. I mean, it felt more Asian, but on a map like this, sometimes I think it is good to go against your intuition, and so maybe actually Peru is going to be the good call here. I also thought maybe with this landscape and this kind of vegetation of Taiwan, but I'm not really sure if Taiwan would ever have that car. Nevertheless, I think I'm going to try Peru here just because I think it's not Peru. So let's see if I'm right about that. And it was Peru. Yeah, that did not look like Peru. The vegetation was strange there, and I guess it is because we're so close to the Ecuadorian border, but just an incredible round, to be honest with you guys. So we at least got the continent there. Country streak of 1. This one looks pretty clearly like Europe to me. Like we've got like this very like salt bushy kind of stuff here, that's very typical of the Mediterranean, Spain, Italy, something like that. So we have to think outside the box here. It's not going to be a particularly easy round, I imagine. If I was thinking outside the box, and I've not played this map much, so I don't think this is a repeat or anything, but if I was going to think outside the box, I would say this is probably going to be in California, because that's the place that can look most Mediterranean, and occasionally you do get these really like thin roads. It is possible to see there. So look, it looks, I mean, I also think like this is a pretty standard click Croatia here, click Italy on one of the islands, click Spain on one of the islands or here. But yeah, I'm going to go for California here. I think it's not out of the question. You'd probably find it like in this kind of area here, maybe just a bit north of Los Angeles. Wish me luck. And okay, it was just on the Spanish island there. So that was actually kind of more of a standard round, but of course, these maps can never be difficult unless there are also some ones that are more standard, and that is a good example. So yeah, probably had I not been playing this map, I probably could have gone a Spanish island there, honestly speaking. But yeah, that's just the way it works. So there we go, 2 points there. Next one here, this is interesting. We've got like a very Asian looking bin here. Silver car is interesting. So silver car theoretically only really found in Bhutan and Philippines, and then I think when it comes to silver car, apart from that, it's not many places and only rarely. What exactly does that mean? Because this definitely feels like Asia. That minivan over here feels very Asian. It kind of looks like Malaysia to me. That's probably without the clues the most likely. But it kind of looks like we're driving right as well. So this is just a very strange round indeed. To be fair, are we going to expect anything else on this map? No, we're not going to. So Philippines or Malaysia? I think, given in the spirit of going for all things ridiculous, we go for Malaysia here. I wonder if you could ever find that in Singapore, and that's why we could be here. But I think it's a bit too hilly for Singapore, so I will click in Malaysia. Let's go in Malacca here and see what happens. And okay, it was Singapore. that must be some of the biggest hills in Singapore, but 4.3k there, pretty good. Actually happy to get the vibe. And yeah, Singapore is another place with silver car apparently, that must just be so incredibly rare, but good to know. Okay, next one here. So this is interesting. I think this landscape is familiar. I've definitely seen places in Argentina, like around here, like in southern Buenos Aires province that look similar to this. I've also seen rounds in Israel that look similar, but I think the landscape is a bit too vast here. And then, of course, given that we have an RV here, and then we have this kind of thing going on the side of the screen here, I would say that North America is obviously pretty likely. So the question is, do we opt more for the Argentina thought, which I definitely had first, or is it more just USA? The road quality is relatively poor, but you could certainly see that in different parts of the US. It's certainly not out of the question. I think I like Argentina better. I think I've definitely seen rounds similar. You get these random hills. So let me see if I can find one here. There's like certain areas. It's part of being good at Geoguessr is just remembering these kind of, these oddities. But there are certain areas like this one here where you get these kind of weird hills. And if we could just find like a road leading up, like maybe this kind of thing here, then yeah, we could be looking at this kind of landscape. I think it is possible. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a go. Let's see what happens here. And okay, well, it's just North America there indeed. Washington near Spokane. I can't remember. I think people were saying it's pronounced Spokane, which is weird to me, but there we go. We could have actually checked the sun there. I didn't check the sun, so that probably could have helped us out, but 6,700, that is actually below average, unfortunately, so let's head in here again. It was just about on average, actually, so not too bad, but obviously I want to be getting higher. Okay, this one is really familiar. We've got like a kind of a concrete road here, double laned. That thing would be most common in Philippines, but I'm assuming because we have that, it shouldn't be Philippines. If you are in Philippines and you see lots of pines, then that's probably going to be somewhere around Manila or a bit further north, like up in these mountainous regions in Luzon. Alternatively, I could see this being southern Thailand, where you often get this kind of high density of these pines as well, around here as well. Another thought I had is that sometimes you get them in Northern Mariana and Guam as well. But I think the blur of the car is probably wrong for there. So the question is now, what do I want to do? I actually kind of think that Philippines may still be the strongest option here. But yeah, I think it's one of the two areas. One of the two areas that I mentioned over here is most likely. What about like Taiwan? It's not out of the question, but yeah, I'm going to try Manila here. Manila area. Let's go in Santa Maria. It's a bit dodgy, but I think it's not a bad idea trusting the road here. Another area I thought of is like Sabah area, where you often get these trees as well. But let's try this. And okay, it was Thailand. I was going to go around here. That would have been a better guess. But there you go. Inside, like, yeah, just entering a national park doesn't really surprise me that. So at least we got the right continent. Next one here is immediately strange. We have a wooden pole that looks very New World, like maybe you could say seeing this in like South Africa would be quite common, North America, something like that, even Australia, but clearly with the lack of eucalyptus trees, this is not Australia. We also have a wooden fence going along the side of the road here. That is something you'd often also see in the New World, less common in Europe, for example. So where do we actually want to take this is now the question. We have tons of pine trees. It feels quite cold. Let me run through some options. Okay, so firstly, it does kind of look like Lesotho, and I don't really see any good evidence that it can't be Lesotho, so I think that would be my default guess here. Chile. Now, Chile is an interesting thought because the pole and light do not feel Chilean at all. And yet the houses in the background do feel kind of decent for that, and particularly the trees kind of felt a bit Chilean to me. So I could definitely see that working out here. By the same token, Argentina is not out of the question as well. Then back on the South African side of things, it could be South Africa. It's not impossible. I think maybe houses fit better for South Africa than South America, in all honesty. And then something about it says to me that, Australia is or New Zealand are a remote possibility here. It could be like a really strange one down there. All in all, I think Lesotho is actually the best call here. It just kind of feels like a weird road that you wouldn't expect to see in Lesotho, but is actually there. And for that matter, I would say it's probably somewhere up in the mountains here, like maybe a town like this where, yeah, they may have driven just like a few side roads and it might feel very strange for that reason. All in all, I feel good about the guess. I'm a bit concerned that we don't see the back of the car here where you'd normally see a bit of white, so I'm very prepared for this to be wrong. What about Bolivia? That's an interesting thought. It could be a really weird Bolivia as well. I just thought of that because the light bulb here kind of feels a bit Bolivian. And then the road also having these black patches as well. That's also not out of the question. I could consider switching to that, but I think I still prefer Lesotho marginally. So let's see where it actually is here. And it was Lesotho, very good, down near on the border there. That makes sense. It had to be something really weird, and that makes sense that it's inside of a town there. So yeah, 4.7k, that's about as good as you're gonna get on this map. I'm pretty happy with that. And the next one here, this immediately just said Indonesia to me. We have the black Google car here. We have like a lot of like kind of pine trees here and this weird pole. Just trying to think of other options because the black Google car is not too common. You can see that, I believe, in Colombia. You can see it in Malaysia as well. So that's two countries that we could see this being here. Colombia actually could tempt me here because you guys know how I love to mix up Colombia and Philippines, so that could be an option. I still thought everything felt more Indonesian here, so that's definitely what I'm thinking. By the way, guys, if you have made it this far in the video and you're still enjoying it, please give the video a like. That would really help me out in the algorithm. Also consider subscribing. Things have been a bit slow in Geoguessr at the moment, so would really appreciate every single one of you who does that. But still, a decision needs to be made here, and I'm still not sure what I think about these polls. All in all, they actually feel a bit more Colombian than they do Indonesian to me. But I know Indonesia, you do just see random stuff for polls sometimes. So we have like a pods tree. This tree has like, I forget what they're called, but we have these ones in Australia too. And I think they'll be more of a South American thing than a Southeast Asian thing, to be honest. So, yeah, my vibes are truly mixed here. I think it actually might be safer, to take it Colombia here. Wow, this has really got me thinking because at the start I really thought this was an easy Indo. I still have to go Indo, but if this is Colombia, that's a really, really fun Colombia bait. I'm gonna take this. I've just heard Real has really weird polls sometimes, but no, I think I would be more happy to go like Kalimantan or something like this. Let's go like here instead. Okay, it was Indo. Happy with that. Obviously it's only 1.4k score, but that is on this map actually par, so that's fine. Okay, next one here, also getting the country, 1 or 2 country streak. Next one here is probably just Argentina, and probably just Brazil, but it could be Argentina as well. We seem to have wooden poles here. It's very like elevated, which is interesting. My main thought here is like something all the way out in the Amazon, Manaus area. I really thought Roraima. So maybe like in one of these towns down here. I don't know what like some of these ones would look like. Probably too flat. We have to be inside a hill here. So just trying to see if any of these towns actually kind of fit that description. Doesn't really look like there's too much going on that road where I kind of thought it might be. What about like São Luís? Not out of the question. I think there are some hills around here. This one here, again, it's really so little going on that it makes it hard to be confident. It really does make it hard to be confident here, I must say. Yeah, because it seems like all the towns seem to dodge all the hills. So my main thought may be invalid here. I still have to go for it though. I'm pretty sure this is, like, everything feels Brazilian. So yeah, and the sun is more to the north. So maybe we should be hedging more down here. I don't know. I'm gonna go for Roraima. That was my thought here. And it was Roraima. Man, I looked at this town. Which one did I look at? Yeah, I was looking at that town. Damn, we could have actually got the 5k there. That would have been so nice. But it makes sense that it's on a border. Often, like, borders follow natural borders, mountains and stuff. So, yeah, we're on a 3-country streak here. This is definitely my best ever. So let's see if we can improve that here. This is, well, it feels like a fairly standard Finland or Sweden or something like that. For that reason, I'm gonna say this is neither of those. I don't know what it is, but I would say not. So, yeah, with this pole here, it looks like a wooden one, right? So that would definitely make us more Northern Europe. If we're gonna exclude those two because they would be too obvious, then Norway becomes an option, UK, Ireland become an option, maybe even France, not out of the question. And then we could also think about US here. I don't think US is impossible, honestly. But okay, we have the Generation 2 camera. We also have like a fairly thin road with like a bit of moss growing in the middle, like a slight amount. I do think maybe UK is what we'd go for here, like a Northern Ireland click. It's definitely strange. It's definitely not typical. But the kind of landscape in the background, slightly hilly, definitely fits. The trees, you know, they can fit. The winter coverage is a bit concerning. But just in the exact same way, I could definitely see Canada, US here actually being the correct answer, just because it is strange. And, you know, when it's strange, North America often is what you're thinking of instead of Europe. But we'll see here what it actually is. And it was actually just Sweden. Kind of disappointed with that one, because that's just one of the standard clicks right there. In fact, I probably would have picked Sweden. So yeah, I don't know. As we said, some of these have to be easier, so that the hard ones are truly difficult. But there we go, 12K. Easily could have picked up 1,000 points in Brazil almost. These ones also, we kind of lost a 50-50 with the Thailand one. Yeah, so I mean, that was definitely a round where we had potential to get around 20K. Of course, that's very easily said and not easily done. So let's head here for one more attempt here, see if we can pull a nice score. This one's completely confusing to me, so I'm not really sure what I should go for here. It's very lush and dense forest. We also have a glitch on the car here, which is really interesting. I was thinking of just clicking Colombia and then resetting if it's not a good guess. But that's the standard guess here. What could we think of as more interesting? What about like US Virgin Islands or Sri Lanka or I don't know, guys. It's so interesting. Maybe even Mexico. I think Mexico could be an interesting thought. Let's try out Chiapas here. And it was Sri Lanka. Okay, that was a very difficult Sri Lanka. It was one of the things I mentioned, fortunately. So we can at least take a bit of pride in that. But okay, this one's definitely Europe. We got black back of the sign there. Surely just Romania. This just feels like Romania. I think this is one of those red herring rounds. Now, it could be Italy. Black back of the sign, you tend to find that in Romania, in Italy, and in Albania, as well as some other countries where, like, for example, Poland and Germany often have like gray or blackish ones, but yeah, I think this is definitely like a black back of the sign. So I would say Romania, and it could be a really baity Bulgaria, because it kind of looks more like Bulgaria. So we'll click on the Sultan border here and try that out. And okay, it was Denmark. Never mind then. Goodness me. I thought those were warm climate trees, and also the problem was that the road was really pale, and Balkan countries often really have pale roads, so that's where the confusion came. Next one here. Ooh, we got a long antenna here. What is the meaning of that? I think this has to be Israel, but without being able to see the antenna, well, maybe without being able to see the antenna it would have been easier, but I assume with this much desert, Israel's one of the only countries that actually has an antenna like that, so I would be thinking all the way down near Eilat. But maybe anywhere along here could work fine. I mean, it seems like we have a big city to our south there, so I would just guess outside Eilat here. But we're not on a highway, so yeah, and Eilat's pretty it's pretty segregated here, so I don't know. That also gives me a bit of like pause for concern here. Like, could we be at the next big town? And yet there aren't really many towns going on here. As you can see, it's basically just highway. So yeah, I'll try Eilat anyway, just because, I don't know, maybe it's like some road that's not marked here. Yeah, we could be somewhere like this, but it is a bit concerning, that's for sure. I'm gonna give it a go here though. And it was much further north, that doesn't surprise me. But there wasn't much going on there, so it would have been a really tough ask. Still, 4.3k is good, so we're on 5k now. Next one here. Very red soil, lots of banana plants. Oh, this one's just also very difficult, I feel. It gives you an Asia vibe, so I want to think about like Mexico here. I think that this is another one where I click Chiapas, and again, it's kind of, it could just be Sri Lanka again, like what it was last time, but this time I actually kind of like it. The reddish soil, you do see that in Chiapas sometimes. It's not too common in Mexico, but it is able to be seen. And then banana plants, yeah. They're definitely findable in Chiapas, that's for sure. Not super common, definitely more common in Southeast Asia, for sure, but I think I like the idea. The trees almost feel a bit like Guatemalan or Mexican, so I'm gonna give that a go. Let's see here. And okay, it was actually Brazil there. It had the red soil there, it was gettable. Just didn't quite feel like that area, I guess. You know, that is kind of the story of this map though, to be fair. Okay, next one here, second last round of the video. We've got a big river. We've got a lot of sand going on. And the vibes wise, I mean, we've only got trees there. I thought that might be like a church peeking up through there. I think it's just a particularly tall tree. This one is just random to me. I can't even get a vibe of the continent based on the boats. They almost feel maybe Asian, but they're kind of far away, and honestly, even if I could see them properly, it probably wouldn't have that much of a positive influence on my guess. I could click anywhere here. I'm just so unlikely to get anything right. But it does seem that the sun is more north, which is pretty useful actually. So we can be happy with that. Also, we have like this big glitch on the camera. So You often see that in Brazil and Indonesia. So if it was Brazil, then I'll be thinking maybe around Belém or something like that. You often get that kind of thing. Maybe Macapá or something like that. Oh, I don't mind that. Macapá. But the thing is, we've got ocean, or we've got like a river north there. That's kind of the problem with that. Still, I don't mind that. We could be like there. I mean, but then we'd see the city across the strait. So, it's a bit, how's it going? I don't really know about that one. What about Belém? Yeah, again, kind of suffers from a similar problem. My other thought was like just somewhere in Indonesia around here. Again, this is the type of place where like looking north may not make as much sense as I'd like it to, but we could be like there or something. I think like taking everything into account, I do prefer Indonesia here. But maybe that's just because I looked at it and it kind of lines up better on the map. I want to say it's one of those two. And I'll take the moral victory if it is still Brazil. But yeah, let's go for Indo here. And okay, it was Colombia. Okay. You know, not too bad. Not too bad there. We're 19,000 kilometers away. That's about as far away as is humanly possible, right? I mean, maybe not quite, but still pretty damn far. And, well, yeah, that is about as far away as you can possibly be, right? Because I'm looking at the two different lines here. They're basically, oof, very, very far. And, yeah, let's head through to the last one here, see if we can save ourselves from complete embarrassment. And it looks like it's Europe. Immediate thoughts like Italy, Romania, something like that. I don't think it's North America. Yeah, I think the trees all feel rather European. We have a birch though, so maybe more likely to be a bit further north. You know, Norway's not out of the question or something like that. Czechia, Slovakia feels honestly quite decent here. I don't know, this could be any number of places. We have a bit of grass growing in the center of the road. But yeah, I don't really know what that would say. Let's hedge a bit between. I think Carpathians is actually kind of good here. Slovakia, Romania, and then I guess anything out here is also possible. We'll see. And okay, it was Bulgaria. So yeah, I mean not quite Carpathians, but does that still count? I actually don't know. Does it kind of snake around like that? I don't know. I actually don't know what you call these. Central Balkan National Park. Anyway, so there we go. We got 8,499, just falling shy of the 500 there. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought of it, actually. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a video soon. Till next time, guys. Goodbye.